Councilman Bob Osborne, what is the new name?
The new name is the Raiders.
And we hope that the years ahead will be the most memorable for our fans and our organization. I want you to know that this is your team. And I hope you'll grow with us as we grow.
There he is, Al Davis. Great teacher, great motivator. The vision he had for this franchise, we got to bring it back.
The Raiders!
But you know what? Just like I told you, I know he loves you guys. Just like he loves his coaching staff and his organization.
What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? All right. I gotta try to keep it down. My wife's sleeping. Hope everybody's doing good. Draft. Ashton Genty on the TV. That's cool. Draft day 3. Rounds 4 to 7. Try to recap a couple things here real quick. Good morning, bro. Hopefully you're doing good. I'm good. Got a little bit of time before gotta leave to go. Go do some stuff with my son for his birthday. So, but hopefully you're doing good, man. My wife's sleeping, so I can't get too crazy today. But how you guys feeling about the draft so far? Let's kind of pull this up. He said, what are my thoughts about Raiders' first, second, and third round pick? So definitely excited about Ashton Genty, the first round. I was the only person I know of that really wanted Jack Beck. I was calling that for a couple weeks now if he's available in second or third round. I didn't think getting Jack Beck at the beginning of the first round was going to be to draft him that high is probably a reach. So for us to trade back twice and still get him, I think was a huge win. And to get an additional, was it 3 picks total, I think, or something like that? I know we had to give up a 5th round, but, you know, I don't feel like there was a lot of star-studded talent on the board in the second round when we were picking. I mean, there was talent, but I don't think it was like superstars. So I wasn't like, you know, upset that we traded back. I was just kind of content and like pretty chill with how everything was. So definitely pumped about that. When I looked up the cornerback we got, Porter, when I read his bio, I don't know too much about him, but I read his bio, you know, I kind of definitely thought of Richard Sherman, and then Pete Carroll had said something about that. And then I know we need offensive linemen. I know some people are wanting quarterback or some other positions, but the situation with Colton Miller could end up being a real situation, which I'd also said something about a couple months ago before the free agency even started, because I don't think Colton Miller is a scheme fit. I'm not saying I want to get rid of Colton Miller necessarily, but if he's not a scheme fit, you know, we have to figure out a backup plan. So, and then if he's not part of the long-term solution, then I also feel like we need to be at a point, I guess, where where, you know, if he's not part of the long-term solution, then it's just almost like, well, maybe we get some draft capital for him or something. I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 on if we should trade him right now or this year or not. I mean, the fact we got developmental guys in the third round, we should probably keep them for another year and let the other guys develop. But we'll see. So, you know, I'm pretty happy overall. I think they're making smart decisions. Kami Goodell on the screen. I did get flagged yesterday but they didn't make me take my video down, so that's good. And that's why I'm not monetized. It was probably the sound. I don't know. I don't even care. Stupid how they like flag people. All right. And I got my screen over to the side, so I got to look over to the side here. It's better not best draft picks, but I did like that cornerback Darren Porter from Iowa State. We did get third round picks or 3 picks. They said we drafted back to offensive line, which I'm not a fan of, but I'll take it because 2 O-lines are drafted. We're best available players. What up, man? Hopefully you're doing good. Time for a comeback. Yes, sir. Hope you guys are doing good. I don't know. If anybody does want to join, I'll put a link in the chat. You guys don't have to, but I'll just put it in here. Hopefully everybody's doing good. We're kind of dealing with some family stuff, and then son's birthday and work. It's always like, dude, I don't have time for anything. A lot of times I feel like so, but appreciate you guys popping in here. How you guys feeling about the draft? Couple things coming up here. Let me say a couple things here real quick before we get started. So first of all, I definitely did want Jack Beck. And I was either the only one or one of the few Raider fans that really wanted him. So definitely excited about that. We got Titans on the clock right now. But, you know, how many of you guys watched the press conference from Pete Carroll and Spytech last night? Press conference. I'll turn that down. Sorry. How many people watched the press conference last night from the Raiders? You know, Raiders said something I think extremely important, you know, and at this point, like I would probably pull the trigger on a Shedeur Sanders if he's available. But, you know, I also feel like, I don't know. I feel like when I listen, and maybe I'm one of the few, but when I listened to Pete Carroll and Spytech mainly yesterday, he had like said something about guys being humble and just being grateful for their opportunity. And I almost felt like when he said that, I almost felt like he was taking like digs at Shedeur Sanders almost, you know? So when Spytech said that about them wanting guys that are humble and just kind of putting their fist in the dirt essentially and going to work, it really made me think that they're not going to draft Shedeur Sanders, whether it's 5th round, 6th round. I mean, you know, he's probably going to go right now in the 4th round, but I personally felt like this general manager was like letting everybody know, you know, in a roundabout way. And I don't think it was unprofessional or anything, but I think he was just letting everybody know like, hey, you know, we're not at a position where we're going to take guys that, you know, feel self-entitled. And he talked about like humble guys and how some of the best guys that he likes are the humble guys and stuff. And I mean, when I heard that, I mean, if I'm being honest, does Shedeur Sanders fit that category? I don't think so. That's me personally. I know there's a lot of people kind of running with this in a lot of different directions that I'm not going to touch on, but yeah, I don't think after I listened to Spytech last night, I don't think Shedeur Sanders is running at all for the Raiders. So I'll just kind of leave it at that. All right. He said we need a tall 6'2" and over. We got 6'4" corner to cover against tall wide receivers. I thought he was 6'3", but you know, I get your point. Pete Carroll definitely wants those tall guys. So, said best Raiders draft so far. Yeah, I'm pretty happy, dude. It's not too many drafts I'm like this content and like happy with what they're doing, you know. So that's exciting. All right, let's kind of stop babbling here. There's a few other things I want to talk about, but I know Titans are on the clock. Let's look at teams that might need a quarterback, okay? And then you guys tell me what quarterbacks, if Shedeur Sanders, or if you want Shedeur Sanders, put in the chat, or if there's somebody else you're looking at here, whether it's quarterback or another position. But I'm really curious on quarterback where you guys think we should target. So let's look at teams that might draft Shedeur. Maybe the Jaguars, but Trevor Lawrence has a big contract. I don't think that's going to happen. So we pick 6th here in the 4th round, and then we have an additional pick coming up towards the end of the 4th round. I might be able to stay for these 2 picks, and then I don't know after that unless we trade back or something. So I can't go live too long, but here pick 33 towards the back end of the 4th round. There's total 36 picks in this round because the compensatory picks. So let's look between pick 33 here and pick 6 when the Raiders pick what teams might be looking to maybe add a quarterback. Browns, no. Jets, possibly. Eagles, or some talk Eagles might. Saints just drafted Tyler Shuck or whatever, so I doubt that. Maybe the Niners, but I don't think the Niners. I mean, the other thing with Shedeur is, like, who's a personality fit? I think at this point, you got to look at personality fit. And I said something last night about we're in the backup quarterback realm, and I'll touch on that in a second. Panthers, possibly, if they don't believe in Bryce Young. Dolphins, with Tua maybe getting hurt. Colts could be looking for quarterback. So I'm just looking at teams that might look for, like, backup quarterback or competition. Maybe Tampa Bay. I'd have to look at Baker Mayfield's contract. Possibly Steelers at this point. And I counted them yesterday. I think it was 7 teams that might be in the running. LA Rams, possibly. And there might be an additional 2 teams now that, like, if Eagles are in the running. But, all right, Titans got Chimer Dyke, wide receiver out of Florida. Ravens, possibly. Because here's the thing, before we, like, count these real quick, like, you got to think, like, at this point, it's like, if you're an NFL team and you have to pay a backup quarterback between 5 and 10 million, we'll say, or 4 to 10 million just for a backup, and some backups are making more than that. That's a lot of money. Right now, you can draft a guy and only pay him like about, what is it, probably $1 million, between $1 and $2 million in this round. So at this point, you're going to see a lot more teams looking for just a backup quarterback. So then, if they draft a guy that's a backup, they don't have to pay another guy like a shitty ass Gardner Minshew 10+ million or whatever the hell that dude's making, or Jimmy G or whatever. So it's kind of my thoughts on looking at this, trying to, like, analyze it from kind of perspective. We're on the second pick of the pretty sure second pick, yeah. Second pick, round 4. Refresh this. All right, so we're going to do reverse order. Just look at possible teams that might be looking for a backup quarterback. Saints, I guess Saints probably could maybe still draft another guy, but we'll say Eagles. Eagles kind of interesting. We'll say 1. Ravens, we'll say 2. And we'll give some fudge room in here too. We'll say Rams 3, Browns 4. Although I think I heard Deion Sanders saying he didn't want his son to go to the Browns, but Browns 4. Packers, I don't know, that'd be interesting, but probably not. We'll say Steelers 5. Panthers, I'll put them in there 6. I don't think Tampa Bay would. Colts will say 7. Dolphins 8. I already said Panthers. I said Eagles. Jets 9. And then Raiders 10. So I'll say 10 possible, possibilities of teams that might be looking for a quarterback. And then I'll say of the 10, realistically, it's probably 4 to 5 that are, like, in serious contention. So I'll give it like a 50% kind of ratio.
So the point is like, here's my point where I'm going with, if the Raiders want a quarterback, whether say if it was Shedeur or like for me, I kind of like Will Howard, I don't know that they'll be available with our second pick in the 4th round. I almost feel like you got to pull the trigger right here. So whether it's Shedeur or Will Howard, because some of these other teams, if they don't like Shedeur, they might get a Will Howard, you know? Maybe the Rams might pull the trigger on Will Howard. So if you guys, you know, want another quarterback in competition with Aiden O'Connell for the backup spot, I don't think you're going to be able to wait till pick 33. I think, you know, and the only 2 left that I really want or would consider in this round is Shedeur Sanders and Will Howard. That's me personally, okay? I know there's other positions we need, from slot cornerback to linebacker to possibly D tackle. I mean, they might even add more offensive linemen later in the draft, maybe not right now. You know, some people have talked about getting 2 running backs in this draft. I don't think that's wise to do right now as far as running backs go, because I think there's too many other areas of need. Safety, I mean, there's a lot of positions, maybe even a wide receiver, maybe not another wide receiver this round, but maybe in the 5th round or something. So running back just went off the board. Bryson Tootin from Virginia Tech. All right, let's go to best available. Let's see who's on the board. Morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody's doing good. I'll get in the chat here in a minute. I just know our pick's coming up, so I want to try to just kind of look at it and try to show you guys the best I can here. All right, Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Royals, wide receiver, Jalen Lane, Joshua Farmer, Cam Skattebo. Running back, a lot of people are talking about Cam Skattebo. He's probably going to go pretty quick coming up here. Gunnar Helm, Dylan Sampson, Brandon Swinson, edge, Quincy Riley. Oh, and edge rusher could be another position. Ty Robinson out of Nebraska. Marcus Mabeau. Who was the guy? He probably already went. There was a guy that was going to be like a 3rd or 4th round draft pick, defensive lineman. I think it was Penn State, in like a white dude that had said in like a game or a bowl game or something that he would love to play with Max Crosby. I can't remember his name. I should try to research that, but actually maybe I could go. I don't know if he was a day tackle or an edge rusher. Let's see. I thought it was Penn State. I could be wrong. I thought his last name was like Bach or something with a B. I don't think he was a D tackle. I think he was an edge rusher or linebacker. He might have already got drafted too. Maybe it was Batty. Maybe was it Yale? Maybe it was this dude. Let me see. Batty, 44 games, BYU. It was tough blockers, a frame, block stronger enough. It might have been this guy because I know he was a white dude. There's not too many white edge rushers. I'm sorry, I don't mean that the wrong way. I think it might have been this guy, and not just because he's white and Crosby's white. I know you're probably gonna take that the wrong way, but he just looked kind of cool, like for a later guy. This might be too early to draft him, but maybe in the 5th round, this Tyler Batty guy, he looked kind of good. I'm pretty sure that was his name. I remember again with a B, and Yale. I know their colors are similar to Penn State's. I know it's bad analysis, but I just remember he got asked by a reporter what he thought if he could be next to Max Crosby. Ooh, Giants gets Cam Skattebo. So there goes Cam Skattebo. Skattebo off the board. All right. Got linebackers. Chris Paul from the window to the wall. Chris Paul. Knocking all them balls. Sorry. 6'1", 222. I know some people have talked about Chris Paul. The guy that I like for linebacker, that's kind of again, this might be a little too high to pick, but Jack Kaiser, this dude from I'm sorry. I know it's like I'm picking all white guys. I don't mean to. So I'm looking like, what the hell's going on here? Especially the Shador Sanders stuff. Everybody's like freaking out, dude. But no, I was looking at him for like this is like a 5th round pick, I would think. Maybe or no, we don't, because we don't have a 5th round pick now. He's probably not gonna be there by the 6th round. I don't know. But this is a guy I was kind of thinking about, might be a good dude. Watched kind of some highlights on him, so that was kind of interesting. But I haven't researched a lot of these linebackers. And then QBs, obviously Shador. Is there anybody you guys would want for quarterbacks in this running in the 4th round? Because I think our next pick is in the 6th round. I'll get on the chat coming up here. Patriots on the clock. Give me a second. I took a picture of it just to make sure. Yeah, so we have 2 picks in the 4th round. We no longer have a pick in the 5th round. So after this 4th round, our next pick is in the 6th round. So keep that in mind. Anybody you guys want, it's going to be really hard to get them in the 6th round. There's a big gap between our 2 picks now and then when we pick again in the 6th round, unless we obviously like trade or something like that. So it's almost like if you like somebody, whether it's quarterback, cornerback, like a slot cornerback, linebacker, we almost have to like freaking hit this thing like right now. You're going to lose a lot of talent by the time you get to the 6th round. Maybe Jack Kaiser could be there by then, but I was thinking he was probably like a 4th to 5th round pick kind of thing. All right, so the quarterbacks, obviously got Shador Sanders still on the board. Will Howard, Quinn Ewers. I don't like Quinn. Some people do. McCord, I know some people like him. Riley Leonard, maybe in the 6th round. You know, I don't think I'd pull the trigger this early on him. Max Brosmer, Cam Miller, Tommy Mellott, Montana State. I know Good Morning Football was talking about this dude being like maybe like a running back or something that can like rotate in, you know, for certain scheme plays or whatever. So, all right, overall, let's go to rounds 4. Okay. All right. We got Patriots on the clock right now. Oh, did they get Craig Woodson, safety out of California, it looks like. So Raiders are almost up. All right, let's get in your chat here real quick. All right, let me go back to this. I'm like looking at my phone on the comments because it's easier to read. All right, so I'll pull it up here. All right, Raider 7528. Good morning, bro. Hope you're doing good. Let's go, dude. Shout out to you, bro. All right, so Raider 7528 said round 4, pick 108. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's all our picks coming up. Appreciate that, Raider 7528. He said, I say we go safety or linebacker. Would be mad at that at all. I think that's a good. I think Kaiser would be there with our 2nd pick in the 4th round. So I wouldn't be mad at that. He said, I heard last night from a good source, Browns maybe go QB again. Who did Browns get? I'm drawing a blank. Did Browns get? No, Saints got Tyler Show. Dart went to the Giants. Oh, did they get Dylan Gabriel? Is that who Dylan Gabriel went to? I'm drawing a blank. Sorry, man. Yeah, help me out on who the Browns got. I think it was Dylan Gabriel, now that I think about it. So I don't think Pop Sanders would refuse any offer at this point. Yeah, dude, I don't know. It's pretty crazy, bro. It's pretty crazy. I like linebacker Danny Stutzman or safety Bill Bowman with the next pick. All right. You've been right a lot of drafts where I've been wrong a lot of drafts. But this draft, I've been pretty right. But I'm not taking a shot at you. You've like said stuff where you're like, I think we go here. And then, being right. I'm like, damn it, I'm all pissed off or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that sounds good. I like that. Raider Dirt said, I know we got Genty, but Neil would make a nice change of pace back too. Wouldn't be mad at that at all. Quinn is best QB available. I don't know, man. Maybe, we don't have a 5th round. I would say maybe a 5th round pick. I don't know. All right, Jags pick is coming up. And then Raiders are on the clock in a second. Jack Kaiser. Oh, they got my linebacker. You motherfuckers, dude. I was literally just talking about Jack Kaiser, dude. So I guess their evaluation is wrong. All right, Jack Kaiser's on TV. You guys can see him. This is the guy that I wanted, dude. I just like the way, dude, he's plays with like tenacity, dude. Damn, I wonder if Raiders would want him. Doesn't look super fast, but he definitely went a little higher than I thought he was going to go. Appreciate all you guys for tuning in here and hanging out. Jig's pissed on your Wheaties 2 years in a row, or on our Wheaties. I mean, they could have really pissed in our Wheaties, dude, had they taken Ashton Jeanty. All right, Raiders pick is in. I did like Jack Kaiser. I mean, I'm not saying he was like going to be great, but all right, man. Who do you guys want? Actually, I'm gonna. I kind of want Will Howard here. I'm not gonna lie. I either want Will Howard here or the next 4th round pick if he's available. You know what? Because I do kind of believe in Aiden O'Connell. I'd wait, even though I want Will Howard. I'd wait on Will Howard for our next pick, and I would get some other position of need that we need with this pick because there's still a lot of talent on the board. And, you know, even though it's good to have another backup quarterback, maybe we should probably wait till our next pick. So pick 33 in the 4th round. Call it out now. Really kind of surprised Jack Kaiser went that high. It's funny, like, I was like yesterday, if you guys go back and you can watch it, it was like a 4-hour long video, but I literally was looking at Jack Beck and I was like, this is the guy that I want. And I was looking at it long before Raiders like pick was coming up. And I was like, I doubt they get him, but that's who I want. And then boom, went kind of crazy. Did a little short video. You guys can go check out my draft reaction. All right, pick is in. Let's hear it. I'm gonna turn the volume up so I get flagged. All right.
In the 2025 NFL Draft, Las Vegas Raiders select Joseph Thornton, wide receiver from Tennessee.
So we got a wide receiver. Who? Dante Thornton Jr. Ooh, that's a big boy. 6'4.5". Damn, we going big, dude. We going big. He's a classic outside lane guy. Didn't run a whole lot of different routes in Tennessee. Tennessee has a very limited route. I'm surprised with wide receiver, dude. Just run by him and then use the train to track the ball and make big plays. You see him here on what they call like a bang in. Wow. Let FBS. Dang, that's crazy. So there we go. Raiders go wide receiver from Tennessee, Dante Thornton. Read his bio here real quick. 6'5", 205 pounds. Thornton can get off press, runs past defensive backs, and tracks the ball well. He catches passes on stride, runs away from defenders after catch. Thornton drives corners back, sinks his hips, and works back to the quarterback on his routes. He's big target and catches passes away from his frame. Dang, I'll be right back. I use the restroom, man. I'll be back. Just give me a minute.
Dang, trying to process this. I thought we'd get another wide receiver. I did not think it was going to be this soon. So, man, that's like, yo, what up? What up? Alligator. Oh, man, I cannot say that name. Edgar Egalitarian 207. Shout out to you, man. Sorry, can't freaking talk sometimes. Was my third option. All right. Yeah, you said what, safety and where was it? Oh, you said linebacker or safety. Right there, safety or linebacker. Man. I wonder if they wanted that Kaiser dude. Wide receiver's third option. They said, you're not surprised? Oh, great pick. All right. I trust you, bro. I don't know too much about him, I'll be honest. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm an expert on this guy. There's only a couple, I don't have the time to look at everybody. So, there's a few guys I'll look at, I'll target just a handful of guys, And I'm like, oh, this guy's got potential. And then I'll kind of ride or die with that. So, my Hendon Hooker. Speaking of which, something I've thought about for all my fellow Hendon Hooker supporters, he has 2 years left on his deal. So does Aiden O'Connell. The Lions last year in the playoffs they brought in oh God, I drew a blank on his name. Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater wasn't even on an NFL team. He was just sitting on the couch or something. So the Lions bring in Teddy Bridgewater, and then the backup when Jared Goff went down in the playoffs for a couple plays, Teddy Bridgewater came in, not Hendon Hooker. So is Hendon Hooker just not developing? Do they not believe in him? With the contract and Jared Goff, I don't remember how long that contract was. Are the Lions gonna eventually move on from Jared Goff and promote Hendon Hooker? If they're starting Teddy Bridgewater instead of Hendon Hooker, that's kind of interesting. Why, Hendon Hooker wouldn't be the backup. So the point is, if, in a couple of years, if the Lions don't believe in Hendon Hooker, he might be a free agent. And Raiders might be able to get him off of free agency. And I would still take a chance on him. At least give him a chance, That's a scheme fit. You want a scheme fit for Chip Kelly and the offense he wants to run? Hendon Hooker is the perfect freaking scheme fit, dude. If you watch the tape, and what Chip Kelly's going to want to do, that's a perfect scheme fit. Where Aiden O'Connell, even though I think he has potential under the right coach and the right system and the right team to set him up for success, I don't think Aiden O'Connell's the best scheme fit. And I know some people want to trade Aiden, but at this point, you're getting pennies on the dollar. I don't know. Unless we feel like we need another 4th round or 5th round draft pick, maybe somebody would trade us for Aiden O'Connell right here. But at this point, I'd rather him just stay on the freaking team, but that's kind of me. So, all right, let me pull this back up. And then, like I said earlier, I'll hang out. Till the Raiders' next pick. So probably be a little bit. Pick 33 coming up here. I think I can hang out that long. And then I got to start getting ready for my son's birthday. So I'll try to hang out. Maybe see if there's any action. Maybe the Raiders move up, Maybe the Raiders, have somebody they're kind of, looking at, and maybe we'll see some action here. Somebody help me out on his name here so I can freaking pronounce it right. Is it pronounced egalitarian? Is that right? Egalitarian. I don't want to be disrespectful to someone's name or something, Try not to be. I'm just really bad with words and names sometimes. That's why I build shit, because I'm good at that. But good morning. Hopefully everybody's having a good Saturday morning. Last day of the draft. Any moves you guys are upset about
You know what I mean? Like, are you guys upset about anything the Raiders have done so far? Whether it was like trade back or, you know, not get a certain guy or a certain position or something. I'm like pretty content, but I know there's probably some other people that might not be, that are probably frustrated, and I understand, you know. We've had a tough going, you know, for a long time. What's the biggest position at need right now? Is it linebacker? I almost feel like it's got to be linebacker. I mean, both the linebackers we got are, I think, 1-year deals. I did like Devin White back in the day. That's why I wanted Raiders to draft instead of Cleveland Farrell. I did a live draft reaction of Cleveland Farrell. I was so pissed off. I don't think I have it on here. I think I did at one point, but I think I took it off. Oh, watch this. This is my Cleveland Farrell draft reaction, dude. This is pretty funny. And I'm not spicing it up, dude. I was so fucking pissed. Watch my Cleveland Farrell draft reaction back in the, was that 2018, I think it was, or 2019. Check this out.
Right behind them.
All right. Logan, come up. Get up here. Get on camera. All right, Raider Nation, got my family here. Got my foam football. All right, Raider Nation, here comes Call Me Goodell. Let's go, Raider Nation. Got my boys. Bleed silver and black. One Nation, Raider Nation. Here it goes. Let's see it.
In the 2019 NFL Draft, the Oakland Raiders select Cleveland Farrell, defensive end.
What?
Clemson.
No way. What the fuck? Oh my god, dude.
Cleveland Farrell, defensive end.
Cleveland Farrell gets the sack.
The 2018 ACC Defensive Player of the Year.
They fucked it up.
And that is why I have a foam football, because that pissed me off, dude. I could at least throw this thing and not break my TV or something. I actually almost hit my TV with that. I was like trying not to freak out my kids there. I'm just like, dude, you got to be kidding me. But yeah, I wanted Devin White, as most of us Raider Nation did. And I know Devin White hasn't done good these last like couple years or whatever it's been since the Super Bowl win, but I think Devin White has some upside. I do. We got that linebacker from the Steelers. I forget his name, so I apologize. But that's like a 1-year rental, and he's kind of older in the tooth, so I don't know if he's a long-term solution. And then we have Amari Burney, who's like a 5th-round pick, I want to say, 5th or 6th-round pick. I don't know if he's going to develop or where he's at on his, like, you know, progression in the NFL. Maybe he'll come on the scene, but at this point, I feel like the biggest position of need right now has to be linebacker, right? I mean, I know a lot of people want D-tackle and you build from the inside out, not like disagreeing with that. Like even at safety, I feel like we have some depth from the guys that we picked up to, I mean, Chris Smith. Where's Chris Smith? I know that dude's really short or whatever, but he got a lot of interception, was pretty good. You know, when he played for the Georgia Bulldogs, I know Georgia had a lot of good defensive players, you know, but where's Chris Smith on the depth chart? We have the safety that we had drafted last year from Air Force. So maybe he's got potential, but then obviously we signed, you know, a couple guys, you know, but I know they want to create this competition and stuff, but I don't know. Safe. I mean, it's got to be, and then we got the Christian Wilkins thing at D-tackle. That could be an issue, but, you know, hopefully it's not. I would say wait, till the 6th round to draft a D-tackle. But right now, the way I'm looking at our team, I think we should focus on, like, if we just look at, like, the biggest area of weakness right now and the biggest area of need, I'm going to say linebacker and probably safety. You know, I'm going to agree with Raider 7528 of what you said earlier as I'm thinking about this and trying to digest it a little more. Aiden O'Connell still employed. Salute, man. Hey, bro. Where is it? I got some let's show you here. I got some nice cards of you here, Aiden O'Connell. Got a couple autographs right here. Boom shakalaka. I got some nicer cards too. It's probably one of the reasons I'm a little biased on Aiden O'Connell. Oh shit! They just went timber. All right, here we go. Got that guy. That one was not numbered. Here we go. We got a numbered rookie card. This is 5 out of 30. That's a nice one. That was a pretty pricey card. I haven't showed my card channel this. Here's 29 out of 30, another expensive one. I gotta do a special video on this, but since we're waiting here, not numbered, but here's another rookie. All these are rookies. 18 of 199. Nine of 25. So 7 of 25 green. Trying to get the rainbow. Here's a 2 of 10. So that one's only numbered to 10. Oh, this is my newest one, actually. I think I got. Actually, I'll save those. Let's see what else we got here. These aren't even all my Aiden O'Connell. This is just to complete the rainbow because I have the 1 of 1 obsidian. Here's another Aiden O'Connell. 75 to 199. Some of these I got doubles on if I got a good deal on them. So I could try to get them graded and try to get a PSA 10. Here's a 49 to 75. I haven't shown anybody this, so you guys are the first ones. I'm like breaking it. Breaking the internet. 18 of 49. Oh, the camera wigged out. Sometimes the reflection makes it wig out. Dude, come on, camera. You gotta drive me bonkers. Can you just like track me, dude? I'm right here. Jesus. 15 of 25. Oh, this one was expensive. Here's a 3 of 8, numbered 3 of 8. This was expensive too. Here's number 3 of 5. You guys are like, dude, hardcore, you're an idiot. Here's a white Contra. Oh, they picked your guy. Sorry, bro. I'll look at it here in a minute. I know you guys probably don't care. Like, I want to see your cards, especially Aiden O'Connell. Here's another white Contra because I want to get some of these graded to try to get a PSA 10. Here's a green, not autograph, 15 of 25. Another green, 19 of 25. So I've got all the different like variations for Obsidian. So that's why I've gotten so many. Here's just a regular rookie. Here's an orange, numbered 41 out of 49. There's a purple, numbered 6 of 75. Here's a couple reds, numbered to 90. And I'll save that one. Again, these aren't all my Aiden O'Connells. These are just the ones that, and I'll do a better show and tell. I'll save that one. Do those two last, maybe. All right, now here's my graded cards that I've bought. So these ones, none of these I've graded myself, but I've bought these. Here's a PSA 10, Aiden O'Connell. This is just an autograph, so that's like a base, not numbered.
Here's PSA 10 jersey autograph. This one's numbered to 199. Damn, dude, this camera. I'm just going to try to leave it there, and I'll just try to show them. Another autograph, PSA 10, 60 to 75. That's a purple. Here's an orange, 43 of 49. This one was expensive, PSA 10. This one's not autographed, but this is 45 out of 49, PSA 10. Almost done. Here's a yellow PSA 10 autograph, numbered 2 of 10. Whoa. And all these are PSA 10s. Here's a gold. This one's actually pretty sick. Not autographed, but numbered 5 of 10. Can't really see it, but that's gold. It looks pretty sick. So similar to that white Contra. Here's my newest one that I've just about completed the entire set, but numbered 3 of 5. This card was super expensive at first, but that's a PSA 10. Got that one, not autographed. It's called Deep Sea Mojo. If you look at this, I know the camera doesn't do this justice, but that card looks so sick, dude. So, and last but not least, my 1 of 1, Aiden O'Connell. I think this one's called Deep Sea Mojo as well. Dude, this card is so sick. I haven't sent it in to get graded. But you can see on the back here, 1 of 1. So that's the one and only. So because I got this card right here is why I decided to get all the other ones. So Aiden O'Connell, I'm sure that wasn't the real Aiden O'Connell, but if that's you, if you could sign this 1 of 1 for me, bro, I would really appreciate it. But so if you guys don't think I'm like, you know, this fucking camera. You guys don't think I'm not sold on Aiden O'Connell's going to do something special one day. Why the fuck would I invest all this? This could end up being worth, if you say won a Super Bowl for the Raiders, this could be worth like over 10 grand, everything I have here. Or I'll just look like a fucking idiot and it'll be worth fucking not the paper it's printed on, which is possible too. So a lot of different directions this thing could go. But, you know, like I don't wish for injuries and stuff, but, you know, you also got to think, like I said yesterday, was Aiden O'Connell set up for success? I mean, does anybody think, you know, any quarterback that would have came in last year, you get rid of Josh Jacobs, you trade Devontae Adams, your star wide receiver. Does anybody really think that Aiden O'Connell was set up for success? If you're honest with yourself, you're going to, you know, come to the realization that no, Aiden O'Connell was not set up for success. And any quarterback under the circumstances that he was under would have failed. You know, that's how I'm looking at this and my evaluation of it. So, you know, but people will just be like, well, you know, he's not mobile enough. And some people, I don't know. I don't go there with it of like some of the things of why I think some people hate on him, but things have shifted and I get it. You know, we're a different realm where people want a different style quarterback, but it's honestly kind of gotten to the point where it's pretty crazy. Like if you can't run a fast 40, then people don't want you. And I get it. The NFL has changed to some degree, but to me, the most important things for a quarterback is still going to be how accurate you throw the ball, your decision-making, and some other elements as well, man, you know? So he said, I knew that was coming. He's like, oh, he said AOC is not the guy. I mean, I'm not saying like he necessarily is, but I don't know, bro. I try to always like give people, you know, a chance and a fair chance, you know? I mean, you can't honestly sit here and tell me that if you said, you know, okay, so because it's like a double standard that we have in Raider Nation and really all throughout the NFL. It's not just Raider fans, but we have a double standard to such a degree where in the double standard we'll say, well, Geno Smith had a terrible offensive line. That's why he got sacked so much.
and that's why he threw so many interceptions, right? But when it comes to a white quarterback who can't run the ball, who isn't as mobile, then we're not going to, give the same evaluation in the same take for Aiden O'Connell. If he gets sacked, it's like, oh, well, it's because he's not mobile. We won't blame the offensive line. We won't blame the fact that he doesn't have a run game. No, we're going to change our standards and then evaluate the other quarterback because he may not have the same skill set as somebody else in a completely different light. And that's where I get fired up. And I feel it's an unfair evaluation. I mean, it's more than unfair. It pisses me off, actually. Not saying you, but I'm saying in general, it fires me up because, if we're going to have a standard and we're going to evaluate people by something, let's have the same standard all across the board. We can't sit here and be like, well, Geno Smith had a bad offensive line and didn't have a run game, and we're going to give him all these excuses. And then we set Geno Smith up for success, but then we're not willing to give Aiden O'Connell a better offensive line. We're not willing to give Aiden O'Connell good wide receivers or as good. Trade the wide receiver and, not give Aiden O'Connell a run game. I mean, think about it. Where Aiden O'Connell's skill set is best because he is more of a pocket passer is absolutely going to be to have a really good offensive line and a really good run game. Now we have the best running back in this draft, and I think the offensive line should get better because the offensive line finished pretty good, but we started out terrible last year, So there's a lot of other factors, that if I look at it, I can't just sit here and be like, well, Aiden O'Connell's trash. I think he was set up for failure. The reality is Coach Antonio Pierce wanted to run the football, and the Raiders did not sign Josh Jacobs or offer him even a fucking contract. You can't have a pocket passer style quarterback like Aiden O'Connell and have a shitty ass run game and get rid of a stud running back and expect to be successful. You're setting your players up for failure. So to sit here and evaluate it by, I don't know what people evaluate it off of, is just like, oh, he's a white quarterback, so I don't like him. I don't know. It gets crazy, dude. It really does. Because some people and their analysis is like, it's so far out there that to me, it drives me bonkers. Like it really does, and it shouldn't be about color, whether we're talking about Aiden O'Connell or Shedeur Sanders or whoever. But some people, if we're being honest, they're turning it to a realm that we should not be fucking evaluating things that way. It's not fair and it's not right, So like I said before this offseason, like Aiden O'Connell has to get his lower body stronger. We'll see, we're going to see come training camp if he worked on his lower body or not, And I've critiqued him. It's not like I'm just an Aiden O'Connell apologist. I'm just saying if you're going to set one guy up for success, set everybody up for the same amount of success, Let's have a fair evaluation for everybody. Color doesn't fucking matter. 40 time, shouldn't even matter as well. Like people want Jalen Milroe, dude. Like that dude has had 27 games to prove he can throw short and intermediate passes consistently. 27 games. He's not like Anthony Richardson that's only started 13 games or whatever the hell it was Anthony Richardson started. Or played 13 or 15 games. Like Jalen Milroe has had plenty on his resume to prove that he can, be successful with those short and intermediate passes. But because he's big, strong, he can throw a long ball. Yeah. And runs a fast 40. Everybody's enamored by him. They're like, oh, we can make this athlete a quarterback. I'm not convinced on that. You should evaluate it, in my opinion, by their arm, how good they are as a quarterback. And then if they can run the ball as a secondary option, then you consider that. But everybody's considering the run factor, and they're like, oh, we can make this, track athlete a quarterback. And I'm not convinced. I think a lot of people are fooled in the NFL that look at quarterbacks and look at, studded athletes, and they're trying to make them into something that they're never going to be. Now, can you design your offense around that kind of player? Yeah, absolutely. Look at Justin Fields, dude. Look at Anthony Richardson. Do you guys realize how trash Daniel Jones is as a quarterback, in my opinion? Daniel Jones just got the Colts just signed Anthony Richardson a couple years ago, and yet now they signed Daniel Jones because they're not convinced Anthony Richardson's the guy. Like, could Milroe end up being a good player? Yes, he could. But you can't sit here and honestly tell me that if a guy can't figure it out how to throw short and intermediate passes, I'm talking 10, 20, 30 yards. I'm not talking the long bomb. I know he can throw a long bomb. If a guy can't figure out how to be accurate on those passes, and they've had 27 games playing in college to figure it out, and they still haven't figured it out, you can't sit here and convince me any way in hell that if he's on an NFL team, he's going to change his stripes and learn how to throw the fucking football. And I think it's crazy. I think it's crazy that people have convinced themselves that let's make somebody into something they're not. Just like me, I'm not trying to turn Aiden O'Connell into Justin Fields. I'm not trying to turn Aiden O'Connell into a 4.340. Now, I might want Aiden O'Connell to get his lower body stronger and learn how to be more of a scrambler style quarterback. I'm not even saying mobile. I'm saying scrambler, so he can move around better in the pocket and maybe run every once in a while, kind of thing. But, I'm not sitting there trying to make leaps and bounds, that drastically, and the other reality is trying to get Aiden O'Connell to be a 4.340 would be a lot harder to make that happen than it would be to ask Jalen Milroe to be able to throw a 20 fucking yard football accurately. Like, you're asking Aiden O'Connell to do something he's never going to be able to do. Asking a guy to throw a ball 20 yards accurately is not a big ask. That's not a huge thing. It's not like I'm asking him that he needs to completely change something. So to me, the whole thing is nuts. We've gotten to a point where we evaluate guys and we get enamored by the underwear Olympics and stuff. And some of the people, it blows my mind. Some of the takes that people have, and I get it to some degree, but to another degree, I'm just like, it's just kind of nuts to me. But that's me. I know I'm on the like, and I appreciate your take as well. It's not like I don't want you in here or anything. I love you, bro. You've been rocking with me a long time, but I just want us all to be fair, and keep in mind, I'm the guy that we're looking at quarterbacks. I'm saying draft another quarterback, like, it's not like I'm not saying, I've even said like, hey, let's pick up Shedeur if he's there. So, even though I like Aiden O'Connell, I'm not saying like, let's have option A, B, and C, that's all I'm saying. Like, let's not put all our eggs in the Geno basket. Let's not put all our eggs in Aiden O'Connell basket, or if we draft a guy in that basket. Let's have multiple options. Let them duke it out, and we'll see. May the best man win. That's true competition. If competition, Pete, is truly about competition, let's get a fucking quarterback with this next draft pick, guys. Like, seriously. If he's truly being honest, and I think he is, because some guys I don't, like McDaniels, I didn't, but if he's truly being honest about it, they want competition, then bring it. Go get a fucking quarterback right now. Will Howard, if Shedeur Sanders there, at this point, I don't care. Let's do something. Let's make that room as difficult for all these fucking guys as possible, because we all know the quarterback has been an issue, right? I mean, and let's bring them all together and we'll see who the best man is. But do they really want to trade for Geno Smith, pay him, and then draft a guy that could be in contention for Geno's job? They might say they want competition. I don't think they do. I don't think they want that smoke. So, all right, my call, I shot you, bro. Hope you're doing good. Richardson was never the guy. The media pumped him up after this guy played 13 college games. Raider fans wanted him without even thinking about that. Owls go salute. Owls go salute, bro. Hopefully you're doing good. I was on here. Keep in mind, this is the Hendon Hooker draft as well as the Aiden O'Connell draft. And I was like one of the few guys that I said his footwork is terrible. I said, could it change? It could, but his footwork and his arm throwing motion was like some of the fucking worst, like, you could see as a talent evaluator. And that scared me. It really did. Like, yeah, he might be talented and stuff, but when you look at Anthony Richardson, if you go back and you watch his college tape, dude, like, there's a few times where he would, like, it looked all right, but there's also a lot of times too where you're like scratching your head. You're like, dude, what is going on with this dude? And so for me, that's scary. Jalen Milroe, he is a more well-rounded quarterback than Anthony Richardson. It's not like I'm ignorant that there's some more positives with Jalen Milroe than Anthony Richardson. But, you know, not to keep repeating the same stuff, I just feel like if you haven't learned, like he's a strong dude. I mean, he's a big dude. I wouldn't mess with him kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, he's a great athlete. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, sometimes those guys that are that big and bulky, it makes it hard for him to throw the short. My theory is it makes it harder for him to throw the short and intermediate passes because he's so strong. For him to probably throw accurate on the shorter passes, he's got to throw that ball like a bullet going like 100 miles an hour because he's so strong. Like if he wants to be accurate on the shorter stuff, he's got to throw the ball so fast on those short passes. And usually with quarterbacks on the shorter passes, you don't want to be throwing bullets because it's a lot harder for the wide receiver to catch him. John Elway is kind of one of the better maybe examples of a quarterback that would like, you know, hurt his players' hands by throwing the ball so hard, you know, and he wasn't even like not nearly the kind of athlete Jalen Milroe was, but he did throw a dart. Like he threw the ball extremely hard. And, you know, I'm not saying that wide receivers like can't do that and can't catch the ball when they're being thrown, the balls are being thrown that fast, but it makes it a lot harder. You can break people's fingers and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know. I'm not a quarterback coach, so like it's not like, you know, I'm not going to sit here and be like, well, I could fix Jalen Milroe, but I just know like a general consensus, or not consensus, but like I just have a general idea and my thinking behind it of what he would need to be successful in the NFL. If he sits for a while and maybe with constant coaching, maybe he could change and learn how to throw a shorter ball more accurately. But I think he's so big, he's going to have to throw that ball so fucking hard to get it to be accurate that it's like going to like almost bounce out of his wide receivers' hands, unless they're like big wide receivers that have big hands and strong hands that can like catch fucking darts, you know? But the dude, in my opinion, that dude, if he wants to throw the ball accurately on the short, he's going to have to throw that thing so fucking fast. It's going to be like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, dude, to the wide receivers. And that's tough. It's going to be tough to be successful like that. So that's just kind of where I was at on the Jalen Milroe and why I was out on him, you know? But like, had he been there, say right now, like in the 4th round, yeah, I would have pulled the trigger on him. Like if he had still been available at this point in the draft, I would take a chance on him because I think the risk versus reward is worth it. But in the 3rd round, the 2nd round, that was a bit rich for me, you know? Same with a lot of these guys, you know, a lot of these quarterbacks that are still on the board have warts, you know, and beyond just Shedeur Sanders, you know, I'm not just going to like, you know, pinpoint him. So, you know, if I look at like value and risk versus return, you know, but at this stage in the draft, this is where you should be willing to like gamble a little more. You should be a little more in the, like, we're going to pull this up here. We're going to be more willing to take like some gambles or some guys that aren't like maybe like have like a huge upside or huge potential. So, all right, we're getting close to the Steelers pick. I want to be here for that one. I'm going to take a quick smoke break. I'll be back. Got Steelers in 1, 2, 3, 4 picks. So we'll see if the Steelers want to get Shedeur. Look, if, you know, last thing I'll say on Shedeur before I go out here in a second is if there's any coach that I think is like a personality fit and probably a scheme fit for Shedeur, it's probably Mike Tomlin. You know, Mike Tomlin has dealt with guys like Antonio Brown, you know, Raider Nation knows how that thing turned out for us. But like most of us, like we kind of knew there's a little bit of issue with Antonio Brown and the Steelers, but Mike Tomlin was probably hiding, or maybe not hiding is the best word. He was probably controlling the situation a lot more than we understood until he came to the Raiders, and that dude went just ape shit. And it was not just the Raiders, obviously. I mean, he did that when he left with Tampa and Patriots and all that. But from that to their wide receiver now, who I'm drawing a blank on. Is it Kenny? Or is it Pickett or Pickens? George Pickens. Sorry, it took me a second to remember. George Pickens, like he's been a kind of a problem child there at the Patriots, and Mike Tomlin's kind of controlled that situation, you know. And I'm not saying Shador is going to be a problem child. I don't know. But I'm just saying if there's like any team, like any guy that could deal with somebody that maybe, you know, might clash at times because of their alpha personality, Mike Tomlin's probably the best fit for Shador, if I'm being real about the situation. So, you know, I almost at this point, like I kind of feel for Shador, kind of feel bad for him, I guess. Maybe I shouldn't, but I hope Shador goes the best situation for him at this point, you know? And I don't even know that the Raiders would be the best situation. I know a lot of us want him. I don't know it's the best personality fit. Now, can Pete Carroll deal with some alpha males and stuff? Absolutely. I mean, he dealt with Richard Sherman, some of that. So maybe the Raiders could be a fit with our next pick if he's still available. And maybe Pete Carroll could, you know, deal with that, you know, if there is a personality clash at times kind of thing. But I also think Mike Tomlin's probably the best fit for Shador. And hopefully for Shador, hopefully he goes to a place that's a good fit for him, you know? All right, give me a couple minutes. I'll be right back. Hang in there, guys. Coming up here, see what the Steelers do. I'll be in the chat still. Mute the mic real quick. I'll be back.
All right, I'm back. Trying to get this camera to zone in on me again. There we go. All right. Looks like Steelers did not go with freaking Shedeur Sanders. It's actually pretty puzzling to me at this point. I know some people think a hit was put on Shedeur. I don't know, dude. But they went Jack Sawyer. That was the guy I was looking at like later on in the draft. But interesting. I need this draft to hurry up. I gotta start getting ready soon. Damn. All right, let's count how many picks we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more picks till the Raiders go. Browns are almost on the clock. What are the Browns going to do, man? Will they go Shedeur? I mean, Browns might be a good fit for him. James Furpo, what up, man? Just wanted to say Raiders. Shout out to you. I said I'm going to lose my shit if we get Devin Will with or Devin Neal. Shout out to you. Is that Jayhawk Raider? Mike 918, salute, bro. I don't have too much else to say. Anybody want to pop in and give your thoughts on the draft or what you want Raiders to do? You're welcome to pop in here. Turn your camera off if you want to be on camera. Kind of give your thoughts while we're waiting for the Raiders coming up. Chargers pick is in. I saw some people saying they didn't like Chargers draft. I think Chargers been drafting actually pretty well. But maybe I'm alone on that one. So they go edge rusher, I think. Or no. I don't even know who that is on TV. I don't have the sound up. I think we drafted QB next season. Brian Miller, what up? What up? Hope you're doing good, big dog. Sanders still on the board? Yeah, he is. We'll go over the best players available. Nobody's picked him up yet, bro. Nobody's picked him up yet. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy, man. Let's go best available. Yeah, Sanders still there available. So here's the best available players. We got a wide receiver, Jalen Royals. Another wide receiver, Jalen Lane. Joshua Farmer, Florida State D tackle. I mean, Raiders might try to go D tackle here if they like any of these guys. 6'3", 305. Dylan Sampson, running back from Tennessee. Brandon Swinson, edge rusher, LSU. Quincy Riley, cornerback, Louisville. Marcus Mulbeau, Purdue, offensive guard. Miles Frazier, LSU. Torrey Horton, Colorado State. Mitchell Evans, tight end, Notre Dame. Devin Neal, that's the dude you were talking about. Oh, yeah, that's that good running back from Kansas. I know some people were talking about. Surprised kind of he hasn't gone yet. There's my guy that I'd like to maybe take a chance on, Will Howard. I don't think he's going to be available by our next pick in the 6th round. So if we want another quarterback, Will Howard's actually a lot more mobile than I thought he was. I was kind of surprised watching some stuff on him.
He was on the Will Howard is on the Gruden camp, and he was actually a lot smarter, and his football IQ was actually pretty damn good. I was pretty impressed with him. Not saying he's the best quarterback by any means or something, but somebody I'd be willing to take a chance on here. Obviously, he knows Chip Kelly's like system and kind of what he wants to run, so it'd be a lot smoother of a transition for him. Probably a better scheme fit, although Chip Kelly did kind of switch his scheme up, you know, for when he was on the offensive coordinator for Ohio. Obviously, Will Howard won the championship. Dawkins, edge. Georgia, R.J. Mickens, Clemson safety, Jordan James. I'm not going to like go through all these guys. So there's somebody you guys want me to pull up. There's that Chris Paul Jr. Ole Miss linebacker, 6'1", 222. If there's someone you guys want me to pull up and kind of read their stuff, I don't mind doing that while we're kind of waiting. Jalen Reed, Penn State. One guy I was looking at was linebacker. Or no, wait, he was an edge rusher, I think. Think about it. For BYU was the dude Tyler Batty. He might be available in the 6th round, though. Maybe not, though. 6th round's a long ways away, I feel like. I just like to do this, like, be pumped up to, like, play next to Max Crosby kind of thing. Oh, dude. Pick is in for the Chargers. All right, go back to the chat. See what you guys are saying here. QB next season. Salute. Sanders in the 5th is steal to me, in my opinion. I agree, but we don't have a 5th round pick. We traded that. So we have our 4th round pick, and then we don't pick again until the 6th round. So this next pick coming up is kind of our last pick until the 6th round. Said Michael Elliott said for sure worth a shot. He said, didn't we get AOC in the 4th? Correct. Yeah, it was a 4th round pick. We traded up in the 4th round to get Aiden O'Connell. But yet in the 3rd round, instead of trading up to get Hendon Hooker, we got Byron Young, who's not even on our team anymore. That was an early 3rd round pick. And then we got that draft, we got Trey Tucker with our 3rd round pick later with our I was like later in the 3rd round, towards the end of the 3rd round. When we got Trey Tucker, I really felt like that was a reach. That was too high of a pick for him. We should have waited till the 4th or 5th round for him. But McDummy, you know, does what McDummy does. So I still like Trey Tucker. I think he's got potential, but I definitely feel like hold on a second. Kyler Kennard, edge rusher, South Carolina is who the Chargers got. Excuse me. I definitely feel like we should have waited instead of getting Trey Tucker that high. There was linebackers on the board. Man, that draft was like just trying to forget it. Just was like reliving a nightmare. Like me, a bunch of us were in here talking about like Trenton Simpson. He may have came off the board by the time our 3rd round pick. But man, there was like 3 or 4 other like pretty good linebackers still on the board that draft when we got Byron Young. So even if we didn't go Hendon Hooker, there's some guys that were potential good guys. And the funny thing is, everybody like talks about, you know, and I'm not saying Mark Davis is a genius or anything or whatever, but Mark Davis, if you guys remember, they put like a camera in the draft room and Mark Davis was in there and he's like said something to McDaniels and Ziegler about how there was linebackers still on the board. I think it was between the 2nd and the 3rd round of the draft. And they end up going freaking Byron Young. And I'm just like, man. So even though Mark Davis may not, you know football like super well, I mean, he's smart enough to know, hey, there's linebackers on the board, you know, and mention it to the guys in charge. And the guys in charge go a completely different direction, you know. So there's a lot of questions on, you know, Dave Ziegler and McDaniels drafts, you know, that they had. You know, is Dylan Parham going to be, you know, a good scheme fit? That's a question I have. I'm not saying he is, but also not saying he isn't. I don't know if we're going to do more of a zone, if Dylan Parham's going to be a good zone blocking guard. I don't think he should be center. I think JPJ should be center. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about. Any players you guys want me to pull up? Did the oh, I'm way behind. Dang, dude, how did it jump that quick? So Browns did not get Shedeur Sanders. They got Dylan Sampson, running back out of Tennessee. That went super quick. I'm like, dude. Colts, they didn't go quarterback either. They didn't try to get Shedeur Sanders. Ravens, could Ravens or Eagles pull the trigger on Shedeur? Maybe the Saints. We got 3 teams coming up that might pull the trigger on Shedeur, possibly. But at this point, geez, man, kind of just mind blown. None of these other teams are wanting to pull the trigger on Shedeur. I mean, dude, we're not in the second round of the draft anymore. Like, this is the 4th freaking round. Man, at this point, I'll be honest, I do kind of feel bad for the guy, but maybe this will motivate him. Who picks 199th overall? Let me look at that, because that's when Tom Brady got picked. I'm pretty sure it was pick 199. 5th round. Would it be crazy if he went the same pick as Tom Brady? Not saying he's going to be a Tom Brady. Oh, that's 6th round. I thought Tom Brady went in the 5th round. It was pick 199. Or was it the 6th round? Chargers had pick 199. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Tom Brady get drafted 199th overall? And I swear I thought it was the 5th round. But maybe I'm mistaken. There's got to be somebody in here that knows that offhand. Or maybe if you could look it up for me, let me know. I was just curious. I mean, this should motivate Shedeur. Which we got Cam Scatterboo. Definitely okay with Genty. I like Genty a lot, man. That was the guy that I wanted. So I'm happy. Also like Jack Beck. He's got good hands, big, tall wide receiver, really good at blocking. I mean, as good as Devontae was or is at times, like he would not block for the running backs. Terrible at blocking, dude. He just ran up to a guy and like pretend like he was going to block, and it was crazy. So we definitely need wide receivers that are willing to block, some important part of the game. You can't just, if you're going to have a run play, you can't just switch your star wide receivers out, for a different wide receiver that can block. You got to be able to have versatile wide receivers. So I like that about Jack Beck, that he's going to be able to block. Obviously, Jacoby Myers, he's really good at blocking, and he's not a big guy, but Jacoby Myers, man, he puts in a lot of effort on run plays, man. I think that part of Jacoby Myers' game is not not talked about enough, about how much he's helping the run game when he's in and when he's blocking, for the running back on run plays. So they said, laugh out loud, imagine Titans draft Sanders. Man, that would be funny. I mean, but they do still have Will Levis. So, all right, pick is in for the Ravens. What will the Ravens do coming up here? Pretty nuts, man. Nobody, I mean, honestly, when people said like Shedeur is going to fall, I kind of believed it a little bit, but I was like, maybe back into the 1st round. I mean, I didn't see this scenario happening at all. So I wonder if they'll go running back. That'd be kind of interesting. Because there's that dude from Kansas still on the board, that running back. Oh, I got terrible echo, dude. I'm turn this down. Who was it? I turned it down because that echo was like really bad from that dude. Oh, linebacker. Teddy Buchanan. Cal or UC Davis transfer. Seems like somehow the Ravens always draft well, even in the later picks. They always have like a good linebacker or good linebackers and Jets. The Jets just trade? I swear somebody else was on the clock. Jets traded with the Eagles. I wonder if Jets are going to get Shador. Jets traded with the Eagles. That's interesting. Let's see what the Jets get. Malachi who? It's hard to like understand their accent. Malachi Moore, safety Alabama. Damn. I thought the Jets were trading up to get Sanders or something, dude. Jesus. This is crazy, bro. This is some loony stuff going on here. I mean, last time I felt like this was, I don't know, when Hendon Hooker kept falling. I mean, but Hendon Hooker went early third round, man. We're in the fourth round. But I was surprised by that, and I was surprised by how many linebackers were still on, like good linebackers still on the board that draft. I said, Shador going to be a UDFA claiming it? I don't know, man. I don't know. This is nuts. This is crazy. Like I said earlier, if you guys didn't hear me in my opening kind of remarks, after I heard, if you guys watched Pete Carroll and Spytek's interview last night, you know, I felt like they were kind of almost I felt like Spytek was almost kind of sneak dissing Sanders because he was asked about players and he's like really like humble players and guys that just kind of, keep their head down and are appreciative just to be here, and how essentially all the best athletes that he's came across kind of have that attitude, and that's why they have long careers and they're successful in the NFL because, they're humble and just grateful and, for the opportunity kind of thing. And when I heard that, I was like, I don't think Shador fits that category and that type of character at all. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take shots at Shador, but I'm just being real about the situation. Like, I don't think, if that's what they're looking for, I don't think Shador fits that at all. So I don't even know if the Raiders will be in the running to try to consider Shador. So I don't know, pretty crazy, man. I don't think he'll be a UDFA though. But we're getting down to the nitty gritty here in the fourth round. So I'll have to start getting ready here after the Raiders pick. Seahawks, Niners. Seahawks got Jalen Milroe. Ravens have another pick. Broncos Could the Broncos, I mean, keep him there in Colorado? Could the Broncos be like, you know what? I mean, where Colorado University, Boulder, that's pretty close to Denver. It's like a half hour away, maybe 45 minutes away. So maybe Denver and the coach there for the Broncos, maybe Dion would call him up and be like, dude, you got to help me out and pick Shedeur. Just keep him here in Colorado. I don't know. I'd be pretty crazy if the Broncos pulled the trigger on him. Quincy Riley, cornerback out of Louisville, going to the Saints. He said, yeah, that's opposite of Shedeur. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. So I don't know. Like, and to me, it was like when he said that, because he was asked, I can't remember. I'd have to re-listen to it and kind of think about the order that things were asked. But because they had asked him about quarterbacks, and he's like, well, we're always considering quarterbacks. But I can't remember if he was asked about quarterbacks first, and then somebody asked him about the character, and then he essentially was talking about high character guys and guys being humble. I feel like maybe he was asked about quarterbacks first, and then later in the interview or press conference, he was like mentioned, about guys being humble. But it was definitely almost like I felt like he was in a roundabout way saying Shedeur Sanders is out of the playbook for us, kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, I do like Will Howard, dude. I did not like Will Howard at first, but when I watched Will Howard on the Gruden camp, and he's got some like moxie in him, some fire, and he was like just quick, dude. Anything Gruden asked him, he was like fucking Johnny on the spot. I was like, damn, dude, this guy's actually has a much higher football IQ than I fucking thought, And he knows Chip Kelly's system, so I don't know. We don't have another pick till the 6th round. So if Raiders don't get somebody now, as far as quarterback wise, I mean, it's going to be slim pickings by the 6th round. I think a lot of these quarterbacks are going to go off the board, So I said, funny, Aiden was picked before Shedeur. Crazy, bro. I didn't even think about that. What pick was Aiden O'Connell in the 4th round? I know we traded up for him. Maybe you or someone can look, unless you guys remember when somebody look and see when Aiden O'Connell went in the 4th round, what number it was of the 4th round. And I'm not saying you're not accurate. I'm just kind of curious where if it was like beginning, middle, end of the 4th round. I feel like it was towards the beginning of the 4th round, because I remember us trading up to get Aiden O'Connell. I don't remember what we gave up to get him, but I know we traded up to get him, because I was pretty mind blown. I was upset actually when we got him, because I'm like, you're going to get that guy and not get Hendon Hooker? Like, it was just probably not a scheme fit for McDaniels. Had we had this coaching staff, they probably would have traded up and got Hendon Hooker, So shout out to everybody in here. We're getting close to the Raiders pick, man. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 more picks. Bears pick is coming up. They got Ruben Hippolyte, the second linebacker out of Maryland. Bro, this is nuts. Dude, would the Chiefs draft Shedeur? I guess I didn't even consider the Chiefs. I mean, you want to talk about coaches that could deal with someone like Shedeur. I mean, I think the Chiefs could be it. I'd hate for that to happen. I don't want to go. I mean, really him on the Broncos or the Chiefs, but I'd almost hate for him to be on the Chiefs more than the Broncos. He was pick 135. Appreciate that, Michael 918. He said, Rebel, I was busy. What did I miss? Nothing, brother. Shedeur Sanders is still on the board. Raiders picked. There, I'll scroll back up for you. Raiders picked a wide receiver right here, Dante Thornton, big tall dude from Tennessee, 6'5", 205. So that's what we did with our first pick in the 4th round, and then we're coming up on our second pick here. And just 2 picks. Got the Chiefs and Broncos, and then Raiders pick is right after that. So still, let's go best available here. Let's look and see who's left on the board. All right, we got Shore Sanders, Jalen Royal, wide receiver, Joshua Farmer, D tackle, Brandon Swinson, edge, Marcus McBow, Miles Frazier, offensive guard, LSU, Torrey Horton, Colorado State wide receiver, Mitchell Evans, tight end, Devin Neal, running back, DJ Giddens, running back, Will Howard. That's who I would like for us to maybe take a chance on here. Keep in mind, Rebel and everybody else, we do not have a pick in the 5th round. So we have this pick, and then it's going to be a long gap before our next pick in the 6th round. So let's look here real quick as we're waiting for the Chiefs pick to come up. Come on, bro. All right, so 4th round is where we're at right now. A couple more picks, then Raiders pick at number 33. Pick 134 or pick 135 overall. Wait, did you say Aiden O'Connell went? What pick did you say? Wait a second. You said 135. Oh, that's funny. That's our same pick we have right now coming up here. So if Raiders were to get Shedeur, it'd be the same overall pick that Aiden O'Connell got drafted. That's funny. That'd be kind of ironic. But yeah, we have pick 135. We got that when we traded yesterday. And then Ravens, Seahawks, Niners will close out the 4th round. And then I got to bounce out of here after our pick. Maybe I'll close out the 4th round, but I got a second ready here. All right, we'll just go kind of quick. Here's the 5th round. Just to kind of show you guys that there should be no Raiders pick on here. So no Raiders pick in the 5th round. So we're going to have a large gap between now and then when we pick again. And then in the 6th round, we pick 180th overall, which will be 4th pick in the 6th round. So pretty high pick in the 6th round. Yeah, there might be some quarterbacks available by then. I don't remember if we had another pick in the 6th round. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, we do. We got 2 more picks on the back end of the 6th round. Pick 37, pick 39 in the 6th round, 213, 215. So, and then in the 7th round, so that's 3 more picks after this next one coming up here. And the 7th round, we got pick 6th overall, or 6th in the 7th round. That looks like it. So we have 1 7th round pick as of now. And Raiders could trade. They could decide to trade up or something, you know, coming up. But all right, let's go back. And then I can pull up that comment from, who was it? Somebody put it in the chat earlier, all of our picks. Oh, there it is. Yeah, Raider 7528 put it in there. So those are all of our picks as of right now. Chiefs get Jalen Royals, wide receiver, Utah State, 4.42, 40-yard dash, pretty fast dude. So Chiefs get another speedster. Go back up, see what comments I missed. So based on the draft, we might go fullback, running back, or tight end. Man, we definitely needed to go more offensive heavy in this draft, I felt like, but you might be right, bro. I'm taking a QB. Like this pick, like you said, no 5th rounders. Yeah, if you want a QB, you got to get him now. Whether it's Shedeur, Will Howard, if you're a Quinn Ewers fan, I think Ewers is on the board. I'll pull it up here in a second. Broncos pick is in. Raiders coming up. We the people. Salute, big bro. Hope you're doing good. Ain't seeing you in a minute. Thanks for popping in here. Take Sanders in the draft. Now I can sit, compete behind AOC. It won't cost much. I like the risk. I like the value and risk versus reward as well, man. For sure, bro. Damn, Raven drafted Teddy. Big no on Sanders. Good thing we got a speedy QB or DB. Sorry, my bad. All right, let's pull up quarterbacks real quick. Give me a second. Best available QB. All right, here's the quarterbacks that are available, guys. We got Shedeur Sanders, obviously, Will Howard, Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord, Riley Leonard. So you have to think how many of these guys will be left or available come our pick in the 6th round. That's why I wanted to kind of go over that. I'm going to say probably from Quinn Ewers to Sanders will probably be gone by the time we pick in the 6th round. Maybe even from Kyle McCord up. You could have 3 to 4 quarterbacks go between now and our next pick in the 6th round. So if you like any of those guys, you know, from Riley Leonard up or whatever, if you don't get them now, you know, you probably ain't getting them unless you trade up, which could happen. They could, you know, try to trade up in the 5th round, you know, maybe leverage some of those 6th round picks and maybe a 7th round pick or something like that. We still have a lot of needs on the team, though. You know, still like linebacker, D tackle, slot cornerback, possibly safety. I mean, oh, all right. Q Robinson, edge, Alabama. Raiders are on the clock. This is going to be my last kind of thing before Raiders pick is in. It says last thing before minimize this and let's see. He said John Gruden helped that QB from Louisiana rise. Which one was that? Actually, I'm not going to look at it right now. I'll have to wait. I don't remember his name. Actually, I can look real quick. Let's see. Bro, what are you doing?
Georgia so far. And he's where I love the upside. You watch him in his flashes where it's so impressive. Can you get more? Can you get him to level up a little bit? Because I think
Q Robinson, edge.
Super consistent plays. Pattern technique needs a lot of work. But the Denver Broncos, they're going to want to stand their rushers up. Guys like Nick Finito coming off the edge. He's going to fit exactly in that mold. What Sean Payton's team wants to do with defense, guys. Again, the athleticism.
Oh, that's Broncos. Sorry. I was tripping for a second. Sorry, guys. The TV is like behind. All right, let's see what this.
I love you. I want to give a huge shout out to my football teams back in Australia, the ACT Women's Monarchs flag football team and the Canberra Centurions. With the 135th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Tonka Hemingway, defensive tackle, South Carolina. Just win, baby!
It's 3:47 in the morning in Australia, so this might be the most jet lag.
Well, that's that. I mean, for the Aiden O'Connell fans, I guess this is somewhat of a good sign, you know? Yeah, but to Michael 918, what he was saying is, where was it at? About Aiden O'Connell being drafted in the 4th round. It was put in there. Oh, Aiden was picked 135. Ironically, that's Raiders pick that Raiders just picked, and yeah, Aiden O'Connell is now officially drafted higher than Shedeur Sanders was drafted. Utterly freaking insane. Aiden O'Connell drafted higher than Shedeur Sanders. Who had that on their DraftKings, bet? I mean, was that even like an option? Aiden O'Connell or Shedeur Sanders will get drafted after Aiden O'Connell got drafted. Like, fuck. This is some of the dude. This is nuts. This is crazy, man. Like, I'm not even the biggest Shedeur guy, but for him to fall this far is actually pretty nuts. Like, this is crazy. Bro, crazy, man. What do you guys think, dude? Tonka, yeah. Officer Farva was liked more. Nobody picked this draft at all. It's pretty crazy, man. Not really dud. Sanders' ass. I'm not a fan of him, but I mean, you can't tell me you thought he was going to go to the 5th round before he's drafted, bro. Nobody thought that. Nobody in their right mind thought that. But it does kind of go to show. It does kind of go to show that did Ravens trade up? I'm trying to figure out what happened here. I don't know if that's Titans traded with the Ravens. But Titans probably aren't going quarterback. It kind of sucks because I really want to be live for when Shedeur gets drafted here, man. Yeah, nobody had it on their bingo card that Shedeur is going to fall to the 5th round. I mean, come on. Nobody. Even if you don't like him or you think he's not very good, nobody thought that. But, it makes you wonder how many of these draft gurus or draft analysis guys get paid from, agents to pump up certain players. I've thought that for years, especially when it comes to sports gambling. I said it yesterday, but just it's a little tinfoil hat-ish, but, you think about it. If you're a guy and you can get drafted in the 1st round and you can make 10 plus million, 10, 15 million a year versus getting drafted in the 4th round like Aiden O'Connell and you make 1 to 1.5 million per year, if you could pay somebody that's, one of these draft experts like a Mel Kiper or someone else, and you're like, hey, Mel or whoever, I'll give you $100,000 to pump up my son and to put positivity out there so he gets drafted higher. If you're writing articles and you're doing draft analysis, if you're going to, give me $100,000 or maybe it's more to put your son in my top 5 or top 10 board, I mean, you think you're not going to do it? I don't know. I think most, draft analysis people would probably take that money and pump up that player. And I think that happens a lot in the NFL. There's probably backdoor deals. It's probably illegal. It's probably a form of fraud or money laundering. I don't know. But, or maybe it's completely legal, I don't know. But you think about it, it makes sense. Why not? If you want to make, you're talking difference of millions of dollars, shit, even if you got to pay somebody $250,000 or something to pump your position up in the draft, you're telling me you wouldn't pay that so you could make literally millions of dollars more per year, And my main thing with Shedeur, I've tried to have an open mind about it. I really have, even though I was pretty upset after the his final game where I felt like he kind of, didn't suck it up and just keep fighting kind of thing, kind of put his head down, his tail between his legs. I felt like, even after all that, for me, I've tried to keep an open mind on him. But then when he went on the Max Crosby Rush podcast, he got asked what he loves or likes about football, and Shedeur Sanders' first words out of his mouth was stability. And he was talking about, before that, he was like talking about how like he and his family, how they got to keep this thing going to support their family essentially, and to keep the money pool going, like something weird. That's not exactly what he said. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but what I took out of it was, that it's important for him to do this to, have the glamour and the money for his family kind of thing, And then when he was asked about football, it wasn't like, hey, I love football. His first words were stability. And then next up was, oh, well, I like the process, kind of thing, and blah, blah, blah. But once he said stability, I had to rewind it. I'm like, did he really just fucking say that? Like, I mean, at least he's being honest, I guess, I mean, but, to me, that rubbed me the wrong way, and even at that, I've tried to have an open mind about it, but, said Sanders the only QB that would be at the goal line and take a 30-yard sack and would take his team out of scoring positions. He ran backwards a lot, man. And you can't just blame the offensive line for that, dude. You got to throw the ball away. No, he did do stuff like that. He would take 15-yard sacks, dude. I know. People say hold on. It's not just that he's holding on to the ball too long. He's doing like boneheaded stuff that no quarterback in the NFL like would do or should do. You know what I mean? So Sanders only QB in the draft that showed the ability to throw the ball away. Tom Brady, this, Tom Brady, that. Get you on the next pick. All right, appreciate it, Michael Lonway. I probably won't be live on the next pick because I'm going to be heading out here and gone for the rest of the evening probably. Dan Orlovsky broke it down perfectly. Why he slid. Plenty of reports about him blaming his teammates. Thank you. His red flags are alarming. Yeah, I don't know. I try to be open-minded. I really do. Sometimes I'm not. I mean, I'll be honest. Sometimes I'm not. Like, first, second round, definitely didn't want to, like, if I was the Raiders at least, didn't want to pull the trigger on Shedeur. But I was like, if he's there in the third round, especially when we got 3 total picks in the third round, then I'm like, hey, we've got more options. Maybe if he's still there, maybe we consider it. But, never did I think that, we're going to be going into the 5th round and still no freaking Shedeur Sanders being drafted. It's like, even with like some of the red flags and stuff, I think he's better than a 5th round pick. I'm going to be fair. I think he's better than a 5th round pick. I think he's a 2nd to 3rd round pick. I really do. Even with some of the antics and all the other stuff and, kind of hearing your take on it, and you're not like wrong about some of those things, I still think he should be like a 2nd to 3rd round pick, at worst 4th round. Like, like this dude is not a 5th round pick. He's not. There's no way. Well, the Niners go waiting to see it. They having terrible interviews. Yeah. I mean, the fact that 32 teams have passed up on him multiple times, 4 times to be exact. So what's, we're at pick 136, is it? Or 138, 138 times he's had a chance to get drafted, and, nobody's want to take a shot on him. It's pretty crazy. He didn't do anything special either. Doesn't have game-changing arm strength or speed. The numbers, salute, brother. How you doing? How you feeling? I'm getting ready to wrap up here. I got to go to my son's birthday party thing, so just trying to at least wanted to watch round 4. Raiders don't got another pick till the 6th round, so we got a big, long gap unless Raiders trade up into the 5th round. We traded away our 5th round when we had traded, I think it was with the Dolphins. I think it was our first trade in the 2nd round. When we got their 3rd and 4th round, we gave them our 5th round. So, which I thought was a good thing. Caleb Williams has similar issues. It showed game-changing talent. Senators didn't do that. Let's see who the Niners get here. I don't think Niners would pull the trigger on him, but I guess you never know. Nope. Niners get Jordan Watkins, wide receiver, Ole Miss. Damn. Crazy, man. I really wanted to be here when Shador got drafted. I want to see who got him. Give me a second. I'm going to mute the camera or the mic real quick. All right, sorry about that, guys. I got another like 10 or 15 minutes. Come on, camera. 5th round. This might go pretty quick. I can't stay till the Raiders' next pick, but we'll just stay for a little bit longer. See if we can rough it out. See if Shador gets picked here coming up, man. All right, let's see what this. Any of these teams you think will pull the trigger on them? Vikings got 2 picks coming up here. I mean, they got J.J. McCarthy, but Ravens maybe, Panthers maybe, Dolphins maybe. I mean, really, all 6 of these teams. Seahawks? Well, no, Seahawks got Jalen Milroe, so they're not going to go another quarterback. My bad. Eagles maybe. Dolphins maybe. Dolphins got 2 picks there. Colts. I think Dolphins got like 3 picks. Maybe Dolphins might pull the trigger on them. Steelers pick 20 in the 5th round. So this is all 5th round I'm looking at right now. Eagles got a couple picks in here. 3 picks, 4 picks. Jeez, how many picks? Eagles got 1, 2, 3, 4. Eagles got 4 picks in the 5th round. Eagles might be it, man. They might pull the trigger on Shador. You got 4 picks in this round. That's pretty crazy. I wonder what kind of bets. I didn't look to see what kind of bets were on Shador. I'm just curious what kind of like bets some of the sports books had. Like, would Shador go past the 2nd round and what the odds were on it? I bet some people lost some money on Shador getting drafted high. I bet there were some big gamblers on Shador. I bet very few people picked Shador was going after the 2nd round. Man. Tyron Ingram Dawkins, edge. I mean, Eagles have been known to deal with big personalities. I guess Eagles could be a good like personality fit. Drafted was it Jalen Walker or no? Jalen Carter. Did they draft another guy this draft that had like some issues, off the field issues? Eagles might be a good fit for Shedeur now that I think about it. Oh, let's see what these guys are saying.
To the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings have been in search of a new quarterback to try to work with and back up J.J. McCarthy. There was all the conversation about Aaron Rodgers and whether he would go to Minnesota. Well, the Vikings now have gone out after losing Daniel Jones to the Colts, after losing Sam Darnold to the Seahawks. They now get one of the Seahawks quarterbacks themselves. They are trading for the veteran quarterback Sam Howell, a new quarterback in the Vikings quarterback room, Reese.
So, oh my God, this is nuts. All right, so the Vikings just traded to the Seahawks for Sam Howell, quarterback Sam Howell, that was on the Washington Commanders. So instead of the Vikings pulling the trigger on Shedeur Sanders or another quarterback in this draft, they get Sam Howell. That's crazy.
As a team, as Adam just alluded to, they'll be in the market for a number 2 quarterback behind J.J. McCarthy, Lewis. And the fact that they ended up trading for, as Adam described, a veteran, but still a young and unproven quarterback.
Panthers get defensive tackle Cam Jackson.
Yeah, it was always going to be all about profiling fit for McCarthy. They want to push him, they want to challenge him, but they also want him to be supported because he's the unquestioned starter right now, barring something catastrophic. And I think Kevin McCarthy made exactly the right call. We say this, was at Ohio State, by Donovan Jackson, and drafted Donovan Jackson.
Wow. Pretty crazy. I mean, pretty nuts, man. Like, all right, Ravens pick is in.
North Carolina standout, terrific quarterback, great guy in the locker room too. So Sam Howell on the move. Our ace researcher Evan Kaplan getting some run here too, and I think Sam Howell was a good round pick too, Evan. So you can make some ties here. What do we got? What do you got for us here?
Yeah, absolutely, Reese. And Sam Howell was a big round pick. And when we talk about day 3, we're looking at value, right? And we went back in the last 20 years.
I just like need time to process all this. Probably got another 10 minutes before I gotta start getting ready to roll out. Aiden O'Connell drafted higher than Shedeur Sanders. Utterly insane.
Tell me which of these recent selections is going to wind up being an all-pro.
See the Ravens get here. I've heard some people saying this is a hit on Shedeur. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. At first, I'll be honest, I thought it was a little more like tinfoil hat-ish, but it's like, you know, could the NFL teams get together and be like, yeah, we're not going to pick Shedeur? I don't know. That seems a little far-fetched for me. All right, Ravens get Carson Vincent, offensive tackle. Oh, what the hell? Seahawks traded? Seahawks traded. I don't know how they traded. I think they traded with the Eagles. I think the Eagles were there, weren't they? So Vikings got Sam Howell and a 5th round pick, and the Seahawks get a 5th round. So weird. I don't know. I guess it makes sense. There's no reason to have Sam Howell on your team if you draft Jalen Milroe, and then you get you just gave Sam Darnold a big contract. Well, not like super big, but interesting. So Seahawks are out of the running for a quarterback, in my opinion.
The Seahawks landed another quarterback once they got Jalen Miller. It was all about finding a landing spot for Sam Howell. Certainly someone the Vikings have been interested in. As far as you mentioned the Kirk Cousins part of it, I would be very surprised right now if there was a return to Minnesota, especially because they have now secured a veteran backup for J.J. McCarthy with some support there as well.
All right, so these are all parts of the intrigue, the draft rooms in this draft hall.
So weird, man. Seahawks got Riley Mills, D tackle, Notre Dame. One of the guys I was kind of looking at, pull him up again or waiting. I know we don't got a pick for a while, but I'll just be kind of looking to see if he goes or not. Was edge rusher from Tyler Batty, BYU, 6'6", 271. Batty started 44 games. BYU makes it tough for blockers to latch onto his frame running style. He stacks and he shed blocks strong enough to set the edge, overpower tight ends. Batty relentlessly rushes the passer. He shoots his hands, drives offensive tackles, and gets off blocks at the top of his rush. He can start upfield, stick his foot in the ground, redirect inside. He can kick inside of the pass rusher. He just kind of stood out to me because I remember saying he'd love to, and most guys say that, but would love to work with Max Crosby, but he gave Max Crosby a lot of love, so. Well, Dolphins get Jordan Phillips, D tackle, Maryland, so no Shedeur Sanders there. Actually, I should have gone best available. Kind of go over best available here. Damn, dude. Like glitches out sometimes. Shedeur Sanders, Brandy Swinson, Marcus Mabeau, Miles Frazier, Torrey Horton, Mitchell Evans. Devin Neal, he's still on the board. Damn. I thought 5th round. I thought he was going to go 4th round. Kind of like Devin Neal, that running back. He's just probably going to go here quick. DJ Giddens, Will Howard. Guy I wouldn't mind the Raiders getting. I don't think he's going to last till the 6th round. RJ Mickens, Jordan James, running back. Zay Frazier, Kewen Ewers. He's still on the board. Chris Paul. Cameron Williams, Jalen Reed. That was somebody else looking out for a later round pick. That the safety here. Although he probably don't meet the Pete Carroll size, 6 foot. I think Pete Carroll wants guys that are like 6'1" minimum, but probably like 6'2" to 3 is kind of their ideal size. They're probably looking for like defensive backs and safeties and stuff. So Browns pick is in. JJ Pegas, Damon Martinez, Jackson Hayes, Darren Strong, Seth McLaughlin. All right, pull up the 5th round, man. Could Browns pull the trigger on Sanders? I will say, I'm not saying Kenny Pickett is the answer, the quarterback that the Browns got this year from the Eagles, but Kenny Pickett filled in. One of the games for Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts got hurt or something. He filled in for a little bit, and he was actually looking really good that game. And then he ended up getting hurt and going out or something like that. So either Jalen Hurts got hurt, or that might have been towards the end of the season where they just didn't want to play Hurts and save him for the playoffs or something like that. That could have been it too. But yeah, I mean, but yeah, that game I thought Kenny Pickett looked pretty good. And I have not been like a Kenny Pickett like fan whatsoever. I've been like, actually thought he was gonna be pretty trash or whatever. So DC4 has taken over 120 picks before Shannon Sanders as of now. Damn, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. Sanders made a deal with a team with the last pick, so he makes less money so they can sign super studs everywhere else. Mr. Irrelevant. It'd be interesting. My theory on it, I don't know if you heard it. Pull it up again. I don't think it's 5th round. Is it? No, it's 6th round. Is Tom Brady. Actually, let me double check it actually first. So I don't look like a moron. I think Tom Brady got picked 199th overall, but I'm going to double check it because I can't remember. Yep. Pick 199th overall was when Tom Brady got drafted. Sixth round, yeah. For some reason, I was thinking it was 5th round, but so the 199th pick as of now is the Chargers. So not saying he's going to go 199th, but that would be kind of crazy if he goes same pick as Tom Brady, with all everybody saying him and Tom Brady work together and all this other stuff, but all right, I want to see what Browns do.
Just maybe. So, well, that would be something. I mean, that would be something. And that's the only way I would say it. But let's see how the next 10 minutes plays out here. The Browns, as we all know, on a shot to. They're the team that had Travis Hunter right there, and they passed up that chance. And then they passed up chances at Shador after they had to get this accurately. I should have the card here since they're right on the clock. They passed on Shador 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and including the selection of Dylan Gabriel last night, 94 to complete the.
Oh, that's right. The Browns did get Dylan Gabriel. Shador Sanders, dude, he goes, man, to the Browns. Browns got Shador Sanders, man. Congrats, Shador. He gets to throw to Travis Hunter, dude. That's pretty badass. You did. Good job. Good job, Raider 7528. Congrats, Shador. I'm happy for him, dude. With all the hate and shit, dude, at this point, I just kind of feel bad for him. Just get this guy on a fucking team, man.
he's going to be hungry, dude.
The reaction in the draft hall says it all. The moment that I'm including every human on the screen. Every single person who's been watching our draft coverage, and anyone else.
Good job, Browns. All right, so here, let's. They could have had him 6 times before this, dude. All right, congrats, Shedeur. I know Raider fans probably upset we didn't get him, but you know what? Let's think about it. There's several things with like Shedeur. Okay, let me pull this down, blow my ugly face up here for a second. This is kind of like close out because I'm happy because I gotta hop in, the shower here because my wife just got out. So this is kind of a good way to close it out. So several things with Shedeur. He's an alpha male kind of guy. Nothing wrong with that. I think the best leaders are alpha males. People saying he has character concerns. I don't know. But like for me, if I look at someone like Shedeur, it's got to be like the right coach and scheme, but like also an organization that needs an alpha male. Look at the organizations that have needed alpha males for a long time, in my opinion, at least, right? Like the Lions were a team back in the day. I know that's probably a bad example because Jared Goff is not an alpha male, but their coach is, right? Their coach, for the Lions is definitely an alpha male. But you look at certain organizations that really needs somebody to take the bull by the horns and being like an alpha male, especially in a society that kind of frowns on being an alpha male. And the Raiders are in an organization that probably needs a leader at quarterback position to be an alpha male. I like Derek Carr, but he was not an alpha male, right? Josh Jacobs, he was kind of more of the leader than, some of the other guys through the years. He's an alpha male. Geno Smith, he's probably an alpha male. Aiden O'Connell, probably not an alpha male. Okay. But you look at the Browns organization, especially with what they've dealt with over the years, with the Deshaun Watson contract and all that tobacco, probably the worst trade, definitely the worst contract in NFL history. Him and, the guy that we drafted and Jamarcus Russell, that was a terrible contract as well before they put maxes on the, how much you could pay guys coming out of college kind of thing. They put caps on it. And I forget what we paid Jamarcus, but it was a ridiculous amount for him to do absolutely nothing. But the point is like Shedeur needs to go to a team where the fan base, the city, where they need somebody that's going to take the bull by the horns and be an alpha dominant fucking dude. And I know they drafted Dylan Gabriel so they can compete it out. But that's honestly, as I thought, like maybe, I don't know about their coach, but just organizationally wise, Shedeur is it. And then if you think about a couple years down the road, depending on how the Browns do and their current coaching staff, I mean, maybe Deion Sanders will end up, being a coach for the Browns in a few years. That could be a good fit. That could be a good scheme fit. You got Shedeur Sanders now and Travis Hunter, that have good familiarity with each other, been playing with each other since at least Jackson State. I don't know if they went to high school together, but, they definitely played with each other for quite some time. So they have that chemistry. And, Browns, Browns. No, they didn't get Travis Hunter. They got, I'm an idiot because they traded that pick. The Jaguars got Travis Hunter. Damn, they got – who the hell did the Browns get with their first overall pick? Mason Graham. It was Mason Graham, huh? So, all right, I'm kind of an idiot. I feel like a jackass now. He was like Travis Hunter was projected to go to the Browns so much that I completely forgot that fucking the Browns traded with the Jaguars. So, been a lot to process. So, forget everything I just said. I don't know. But you know what? I still think, even though Travis Hunter isn't there for him to throw to, like, at least the Browns, like, have a guy that could take the bull by the horns, can take that organization. Baker Mayfield was kind of that way, but I think there was some clash between him and some of the coaching staff. But, my question would be, like, how is Baker Mayfield's, gameplay versus, leadership different than Shedeur? I think the Browns need a guy like Shedeur Sanders. I do. I think they need a leader in that organization to be more of a Shedeur Sanders than a Baker Mayfield or Johnny Manziel and some of these other fucking clowns. So, that could be a good fit. And, maybe the Browns, let's look at their picks they got left. Maybe they'll pick up Shiloh Sanders because, Deion said he'd have to go to a place that wanted both his sons, Could Deion be the guy to return the Browns to greatness later on down the road, like in a couple years, I don't know. So I don't think the Browns have any more picks in the 5th round. Let's look at the 6th round here. And I don't think Shiloh's a 5th round. He's probably a 6th or 7th round guy. Maybe even later. I don't know. Some people I think were saying maybe UDFA kind of thing. So just kind of looking at the 6th round here. Do they not have a pick in the 6th round, or did I miss it? No pick in the 6th round. Let's see if they have any picks in the 7th round. Damn, how do they not have any picks? I must have traded some stuff. Huh. So, looks to me like Browns don't have any more draft picks this draft. Unless I'm missing something. Interesting. Maybe they trade up into the 7th round and risk like something from next year's draft to try to get Shiloh. Or maybe Shiloh goes, UDFA. So, but you know what? I'm not going to hate on Sanders, man. I'm really not. Like, I'm grateful I got to see where he was going to go. It was like the big talk. And you know what? I think the Browns a good fit. I do. I think whatever, like certain things happen in life, whatever's meant to be will be. I think the Browns just got a pretty good quarterback that has potential. And I think that's going to fit like, what they need and desire. So, I'm not hating on it at all. So, said I would have taken Sanders in 5th and on out. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, if he's there, I mean, with the possibilities, like it's worth taking a chance on. Damn, we dodged a bullet. I didn't want Sanders, like to some degree, but to another degree, it was like I was willing to take a gamble on it. So, all right, guys, I got to close out here. I got to get going. So, but I appreciate you guys, man. Pretty crazy draft. Aiden O'Connell was drafted before Shedeur Sanders. Pretty nuts. Nobody would ever had that on their bingo card or their gambling ticket. So, and neither did I. I thought definitely 2nd round. I was thinking early 2nd, like worst case scenario, right? Like definitely like early 2nd, definitely before the end of the 2nd round. So I'm pretty mind blown, but good luck to Shedeur, and hopefully, he's happy where he's going. That was probably the one team he didn't want to go to. It was probably the one team Deion Sanders was like, we're not going to the Browns. I think there was even rumors that Deion may have said that, but Deion probably got on the horn today. It was like, Browns, just take my son. I'll do anything. If you guys just take my son, Shedeur Sanders, I'll come be your coach in a year or 2 years. I don't know. I should be laughing at him, but who knows? Maybe Deion made some phone calls like, dude, just get him, please, like, kind of thing. So, but shout out to him, man. I think with the Deshaun Watson stuff and everything else they've been through, I think they deserve a guy that's an alpha leader and that's going to, be extra hungry. And this whole thing, the way it played out, Shedeur might end up balling out and doing really good for the Browns. So congrats to them. But I appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe. Raider7528, appreciate all you guys. Red Dirt Raider, appreciate you. James Furpo. We the People, the numbers. I'm sure I missed somebody. Rebel Raider. Michael 918. Of course, James Furpo. Raiders. Sorry, no, it was a weak Raiders, but I'm trying not to yell. Anybody else I missed? Apologize, but appreciate all you guys. Make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe. What did he say? He said, I'm going to watch some NBA playoffs till round 6. Let's go, man. How's Ghost? You still up in here? I appreciate you, big dog. Thanks for popping in. Let's go Warriors, man. I've been rooting for the Warriors. Jimmy Butler. Damn, that sucked, man. Jimmy Butler getting hurt, really hurt. So, but we'll see. I still want to take a chance on Will Howard. If somehow he's there in the 6th round, that's who I hope the Raiders get. So, but all right, guys, appreciate you. I'm Hardcore Raider. There's only one nation. That's Raider Nation. Hardcore Raider out.